Welcome back to our in-depth analysis of Life is Strange. We're going to go through every minute of Chapter 2. So, this starts with a recap, which is important because there were weeks between each of these chapters, so you have to remind the player exactly what happened and exactly what the stakes are and what's going on and all that stuff. This is actually a good call even in a game where you don't have clear chapter breaks, because the player will often stop for a week, and coming back is very, very hard if there's no reminders. Make sure you can skip it, like so. Now what we're going to do is enter back into the reacclimation phase. Since it has theoretically been weeks since you played, they're going to re-immerse you into the mood of the game with another wake-up scene. So I think this is relatively well done, but if you're playing straight through, it is very long and you can't skip it. So you have to just kind of sit here while they pan over the things that Max has been doing for the past couple of days, or past couple of hours, mostly reading sci-fi. But there is a wonderful pink glow through the eastern windows here. All of the east-facing dorm rooms have this pink glow, which is good because it means that all of the west-facing dorm rooms can be cold and dark in the mornings. We have some pink glowy things to do, and we have some cold dark things to do, so that works out pretty well. We're also going to run into some of the problems with this author, with this writer in this chapter. This writer is quite good at middles. They're good at keeping the pace, and they're good at being really, really detailed with exactly what things are happening now. But they're not so good at beginnings or endings, and we're going to see that really crop up here. This scene is definitely the best scene in the first part of this chapter, and now there is a whole chain of rather annoying events. Now that song is going to get me in trouble. YouTube has some real serious copyright problems, and I think I'll just turn it off for now. So you can do various things in here. This whole next 10 minutes or so, well, more like 15 minutes for everyone else, or 5 minutes for us. So this is, we're being invited by Chloe. We can psychically use our cell phone. See?
Having Chloe back in my life again.
Anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot of stuff we can do. We're going to be skipping most of it, but this is still a reacclimation phase. All of the things you can do in this dorm room and in the hall and all that stuff, they're just things to pull you back into Max's shoes after a 2-week break. Since we haven't had a 2-week break, I'm not going to take you all through that.
Like now. Thanks,
Here we can see Victoria
yeah, of course.
harping on her friends. And over here we can see Alyssa getting hit by random stuff.
Ow!
Now, normally I would say that's a pretty clear case of bullying, but when we tell Alyssa to move...
Alyssa, can you stand over there? Okay, Max.
She moves like 1 foot. And they don't aim at her. So I'm not sure what the heck that was.
Thank you, Max.
Yeah, we saved you. That would have been lethal had you been hit. If we wanted to do more chattering, we could talk to Dana or her buddy here. We can't actually talk to him, but we can look at him very intently. Hello, I see you. We could talk to Juliet or Brooke. All of these people here, all 5 of these women, and probably this guy here, are all fairly friendly to us, and they all hate Nathan. Worth keeping that in mind. So here we enter into the showers. And by now we have spent 10 minutes wandering around the halls. I skipped all of it, but you would have spent 10 minutes controlling Max's every move. And feeling pretty comfortable because Max was saying what you wanted her to say and picking up whatever you wanted her to pick up and all that jazz. I'm not sure I like the idea of a window with no shades right here. Oh, and here is something. So Rachel is a whore. This is obviously done by Victoria, but Victoria doesn't seem like the sort to doodle on walls. I guess she does. And here's Kate. This begins the first of many badly blocked scenes. The opening in this particular chapter is really very static. We do get some body language, and the voice acting is very good. But it's not a very interesting conversation, and it's not done great.
Doesn't everybody here? By the way, Max, Do you still have my copy of the October Country? Oh, yes, of course. It's great so far.
So I think
I
this is
didn't
supposed to
realize Bradford was
establish
such a poet.
the fact that we were in fact
Can you
friends with
bring it
Kate
back to my
before this
room
happened,
morning?
and it's like
I
a
just
catch-up
needed
game.
to
They're
keep
trying to
it for that.
establish their
Absolutely.
relationship
I'll be
long
back
after
later.
we've started to act on it. But it basically feels not pointless, but badly paced. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that this is the exact same arrangement as the bathroom we met Chloe in. There's only one place we can actually go, and it lures us around the corner of this L-shaped room so that we can be properly blocked for the next set of interactions. So this is our blue butterfly. This upcoming part is really obnoxious to me because it shows Max doing things that we didn't tell her to do and just being a total wuss. I can understand why. They still wanted to give Max room to grow out of her wussiness, so they had to let her still be a wuss for a while, but it's like she's inexcusably wussy in this scene. You don't have to be Herculean to peek through the shower curtains and say, hey, you, stop it. It's... Especially if you can then just rewind time if it turns out poorly. Hell, if you can rewind time, just walk out there and see what's going on and then rewind time so that nobody saw you walking around bare-assed in the bathroom. There's no penalty to interacting, and despite that, she refuses to interact, and that is one of the problems I have with this beginning.
Cool.
The other problem I have with this beginning is that if she had chosen to interact here, we could have prepped very, very well for the conversation that's going to come after this.
Oh my God,
Unfortunately, that conversation will feel like Max is coming out of nowhere and the pacing is wrong, because this is too passive.
You're going to be sorry someday.
Oh, boo-hoo. I'm sorry you're a viral slut. I'm sure she had fun. Looks like it.
We're standing literally 4 feet away. It's pretty clear that neither of these two know we're here. They're just gonna talk and talk and talk, and it's completely not blocked or anything. Some vague body language, and that's it.
Give it a rest, Taylor. Now I know if I'm in an accident, I won't rely on you or Courtney for help. You can hang out with Kate.
Not my favorite part of this chapter.
She's a weirdo with that dumb camera.
Yes, this is all unskippable, by the
I'm so
way.
quirky crap. Anyway, let's leave the link to Kate's video so everybody gets a chance to see her in action. You are such an evil biatch. I love it.
Memes. So the low camera angle there is actually not just to get a low shot on girls in short skirts. Having a low camera angle establishes that the characters in the in the upper area, the larger than life characters, feel like they're big and strong. So they're trying to give you a sense that Victoria and her buddy are big and mean.
Then go give back Kate's book.
They're really not that big or mean, but whatever.
Even if I can stop one person from watching it, it's worth it.
Go back out into the hall. So we still have plenty of people around here. There's still Dana and Juliet, both of whom like us. There's Brooke. She likes us. It's the women's dorm. Someone doodled. Yeah, so where did this come from?
No.
Victoria didn't know where we were. Neither of Victoria's buddies knew where we were. Everyone in the hallway is our friend. How did Nathan come in?
After I find Kate's book.
How did Nathan get into our room in the 10 minutes we happened to step down the hall?
Man, this could almost be art if it wasn't so fucking sick and disturbed.
So that's one of my problems with this this writer. They're very soap opera-y, and they'll throw in soap opera twists, even if they don't make sense plot-wise or pacing-wise. And we're going to see a lot of those, and they eventually cause the downfall of the game. But we're just seeing a hint of them right now. So where do you think the book is? Maybe right next to that very spillable looking soda.
Of course she just spilled soda on Kate's book. We better fix this fast.
Yep, this
Kate
is
needs
just
the
an
book
excuse
and
to
I don't
remind
wanna
us
echo
that
this
she has
problems.
psychic powers, and unfortunately,
Be gone,
it serves to
Alice.
remind us that she could have intervened without any risk at any point during that shower scene.
Aha, you sneaky book. You're mine. I need to get dressed before I go
That's right,
there.
I forgot.
Maybe I'll just put on a shirt and jeans. Hey, Einstein had the same exact suit for every day of the week.
So this is a fairly lighthearted situation. At worst, we have someone threatening us, but it doesn't really
Now I can
sink in
finally
very
get this
much.
back to Kate before I'm late.
Not to me, at
As
least.
if I have to worry about being late anymore. I do have all the time in the world now.
And now we're pointing out the fact that we could have intervened without any risk. Whatever. So here we're getting someone threatening us. In theory, it's Nathan.
Oh shit. Now I'm getting anonymous threats?
It's hard to be
Never
scared of him, though,
again.
because we have
This has to
superpowers.
be from Nathan. But it could be anybody. I better be doubly careful around here, or I could be in serious danger.
Chloe would let
If
you
I'm
have
not
her gun, I'm
already.
sure.
Kate? You in there?
Yes, I'm here. Come in, Max.
So this is on the west face of the building, and therefore it doesn't have that warm pink glow. It's just got a soft ambient reflected light. And that means that this room feels much colder and more desolate than ours. It's also filled with religious imagery. Kate is very, very religious, and she's definitely leaning on it right now. There's lots of things we can do, like take a photo of a rabbit and stuff. But the big reason to be in here looking around is that we can learn the details we need to save her life later, because that stuff kind of matters. So if we were to go over here and read her Bible, we can
Kate
see
even
which
makes notes in her
chapter
Bible.
she likes and which chapter she
My
doesn't.
parents never once took me to church. I had nothing to rebel against.
Now, maybe
I don't know
I'm a
what
little
to
bit super
believe.
sensitive because this religious stuff does not rub me the right way. But my problems with the pacing of the game really began in earnest here, because the conversation we're about to have gets pretty
Hey, Kate. I
pretty
brought your
dark
book.
and a little bit intense, and it
Max,
comes
why
kind
did
of
you
out of
step in
nowhere.
between David and me
So
yesterday?
it doesn't come out of nowhere completely. We know what's been going on with Kate, but
I
it
hate bullies.
it takes us
David
down
asked me
faster
to
than
go
I
with
was
I was hoping you would.
excuse me. It takes us down
It's nice
faster
to
than
see
I
that you
was
care
willing
about
to
me.
go at that
Kate,
moment. I
I
wasn't
actually do
prepared to
care.
go into soap opera territory quite
What's
this
the
fast.
story with you and David?
They've just
Well,
reintroduced the
he's a
game's
total
feel,
paranoid
and now
ass.
they've taken the game's
He
feel and
thinks
they've
he's
rammed
part
it
of
into
the
a brick
Vortex
wall
Club.
in order to
Oh,
try and
wait.
tug on our heartstrings.
What about this video? And I swear I haven't
So,
watched
I can't even watch
we're
it,
just gonna
Max.
have this conversation for a while.
it. I won't either.
Thank you, Max. You
Most
know
of this
how
conversation is
humiliating
fairly
this is for me?
reasonable.
I know
Max
this
doesn't
sucks,
have any
but
strong opinions of her
tell me
own,
about the video
but
and
we are
maybe
in
I can
control
help.
of her like we have been for this
Basically, I
whole
went to
chapter,
one Vortex
and she's
Club
pretty much doing
party
exactly what we're asking
and
her to
ended up
do,
making out
even
with a
saying
bunch
the
of
things
people.
that we want her to say.
And I have no
So
memory
right
of it.
now, we feel like Max is a very transparent avatar and doing exactly what we want her to do.
It doesn't sound like you. I can't see you partying with Victoria.
I didn't.
You have to tell
So
me
notice
more
this
than
cold
that.
light. I really
What
like the way that
happened
it
at the
looks,
party?
but unfortunately,
Did
this
you
is
drink?
another
I swear
badly
to God,
blocked.
I had one sip of red wine.
In a conversation,
And
it
then I
has no
drank.
body language, it has no movement. There's not even really any conflict here. We're just getting along with her, and it's very, very aggressive. Explaining. It's just explaining. It's exposition on
I
top of
don't get
exposition, and it's emotionally charged.
Take a sip at church and I
but
don't end up on a viral
it
video,
isn't
okay?
late enough in this
somebody
chapter to
I remember
have established that readiness.
I
That
remember getting
we're not an
sick
emotional
and dizzy.
sponge yet. We haven't had that
Oh.
much time
Then Nathan
to get these
Prescott
characters
said he would
seeped
take me
back
to the
into our
hospital.
veins, and in fact, we barely met Kate at all. It was mostly just text messages.
Nathan Prescott? Oh shit.
He was being nice for a change when he offered to help me.
And there
He's
is
the
another
opposite of
huge,
nice.
huge plot hole here.
What
It's
next?
It's actually only a minor plot hole, but it's so glaring that it physically hurts, and we'll get to that in next episode, I think.
So white and bright.
Go on. I'm listening.
Somebody was talking to me in a soft voice. I thought it was a doctor until I heard Nathan and felt a sharp sting in my neck. And that's all I remember. I don't know what happened.
So now we know what happened to Kate. Now the thing about this is Max already knew about 90% of this stuff before pulling up here. Max has known since the beginning of the game most of this stuff. She didn't know the specifics of Nathan and the specifics of the room, but none of this stuff is very surprising to us. The problem is that they have to lay it onto us real thick, because if they'd done that at the beginning of the game, we would have paired up with Kate rather than with Chloe, and we would have been dealing with Kate's problem, and Chloe would have been an adjunct. So now we're getting this awkward situation where they're playing catch-up with Kate now that they've established Chloe, and I just don't think it works very well. Now, that being said, I may not be the ideal audience for this sort of thing, especially since when I see religious stuff, it definitely makes me cringe a little bit, which could interrupt the flow of the pacing, the flow of the tension.
So, Max,
So here is where we have a serious problem.
Absolutely, Kate. Anything.
Up until now, Max has been pretty good about doing the things we want her to do, including saying the things we want her to say. But unfortunately, at this stage, we are not capable of having Max say anything useful. Our two options are go to the police and look for proof. Now, both of those options are valid options. For look for proof, we are now a psychic time-traveling ninja, and we're gonna actually go look for proof. But if we choose look for proof, then what we end up saying is just sit here and do nothing, and then we get yelled at. If we say go to the police, that's also valid, but we have to tell her the police are owned by Nathan, and the police aren't going to have any respect for me. Oh, and if you bring the principal in, the principal already hates me too. And instead, we just kind of say go to the police, and we don't really explain how to get around those things. We just kind of go, oh shit, I forgot about all that shit in the last couple of sentences. Still, of the two, go to the police is the choice which works in this particular situation. In real life, of course, going to the police for this kind of severe trauma is often just as traumatizing, because they generally don't bother to believe anybody. Well, this aside, it's been a rough early opening for this chapter. The good news is the rough early opening is, it's basically over now, and we're about to get to the part of the game where the writing really picks up. We're getting into the middle, and that's what the writer is good at. Now, there still are a few more stupid things in terms of puzzles, and don't you worry, I'll tell you about those. But the writing is about to improve dramatically, and so is the narrative flow, and things like blocking come back. This opening scene was very unimpressive, but that's fine. We just got ourselves a 20-minute unimpressive opening area. We'll just leave it behind us. There were some good elements. The idea of using the east-facing windows for pink light in the happy rooms, and the west-facing windows for the cold light in the unhappy rooms. That was really brilliant. The idea of the shower scene was also really brilliant. It didn't actually go anywhere, but it could have been used to really pull us in a lot more aggressively, and that could have worked out very, very well. So it wasn't that it was bad, it was just that it was a little bit mishandled in comparison to what I would have liked. If we talk to Brooke, she'll tell us about
hi, Max.
She'll hint about her crush, I think.
You look distracted. Everything cool?
I was riveted by that weird snow flurry yesterday.
She's been talking with Warren and spying on his car.
Since I'm a science noob, I was wondering if you could explain it.
I'm serious. Even meteorologists can't explain that snow. I bet Warren can. Did you talk to him yet?
I will later.
Lucky you. I'm sure he'll track you down, Max.
I guess that's the next time
I'll
we see
see
her.
you
It's a little
around.
too early for that. So we're swept off via cutscene to the diner. It's kind of just an overview of the school as we leave. We do get to see... Oh, I forgot. There is a little bit more we can do. None of this really matters at the moment. We can go over here and take a look inside, but there's no scarf yet. No point to being in here when there's no scarf. Well, we could grab an axe. We could really use an axe. No? Okay. We could talk to Samuel. He's got nothing of any value to us to say at the moment. But there is someone who does have something of value to say. That would be Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. Just because you were nice to Victoria doesn't mean I have to be nice to you.
It's another static, unblocked scene.
I don't want to.
And here's where we learn why this lady is so attached to Victoria. And it's because Victoria was nice about her mom and paid for her mom's surgery. Or her hospital stay.
Why do you hang out with Victoria? She's pretty mean to you and Courtney.
And she's bossy too. Look, you don't know her. I do. And she's one of the best friends you could have.
I guess I've had mean, bossy best friends too.
I do like minor character developments, but I want to talk a little bit, maybe not at this exact second, but I'd like to talk a little bit about using automated blocking. And we're going to talk about that a fair amount over the course of this game, because there is some in the game. It's just that it doesn't get used in situations like this.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
So now we're going to cheat. We're going to pretend that everyone in school knows about her sick mom, and therefore we do too.
I've heard that your mother was sick. I'm so sorry. What happened to her?
Well,
You like
if
me
do
now, right?
care, my mom had back surgery. Victoria was there for me. Like you are for Kate. I'm not about tearing people down, Max.
I know.
Didn't
That's
you just
why I
say,
wanted to-
"Oh, hi, Max,"
I'm
10 seconds ago?
Glad we did.
Oh, whatever. Better than nothing. So now we're going to have another one of these really dull, unblocked scenes with Warren. Oh, here is Nathan's father.
Max, check it out.
Once
Fine.
again, I'm
What
not
are you
planning
doing
on
here?
dating Warren. He's too much like my
Nothing.
former self.
Waiting.
And if
for
I
a
was
call?
my former self,
And
I would
mean,
much
already
rather
took the
hook
call.
up with
Anyway,
Brooke than with
I wanted
Max.
to rap about that
So,
action yesterday.
I'm gonna go push him onto Brooke.
By the way, thank you for stepping in.
So
You
here we
look
have
pretty
another
badass, Warren.
scene which is largely unblocked. There
Oh,
is some
yes,
camera
we do.
movement
I
to
got knocked
lock in
my
on the
ass by that
faces,
dick.
and some
I'm
camera
some
movement to
personal
pull back.
superhero.
But there
You're
is
real
more than
today.
just moving the camera
stood
around
up
that you
to
can
a
do in
bully
these
and
scenes. These scenes have a
You
progression
left
to them, an
me
emotional
with that
distance,
bully and ran off with
and there's
that
no
girl.
reason not to
She's pretty
use
punk rock.
that.
How do you know her?
So, for example, at this stage, we were talking with Warren. When we say, "Oh, hi, Warren," we could have stopped at a little bit of a further range. And then as we started to talk about how thankful we were about his helping us, we could have come into a much closer range and, stood either next to him or directly across from him. These direct head-on-head conversations, I don't think they work very well unless the two people are more aggressive with each other, but that's just me. Similarly, now that we're talking about Chloe again, we could have had some nice body movement where we face the same direction as him, or we pull away and turn a little bit, to show that the two of us are now talking about a common topic, and we're not talking about each other, or we're no longer head-to-head, we're no longer face-to-face anymore.
An old friend.
But instead, we just
Chloe
stand
Price.
there.
We haven't seen each other in a while.
Body language could also play a role.
Last up in that
There's no
truck
reason
like a
why they
rock
couldn't
star.
have used
What's
some
that
generic
expression?
body language
Why do you
animations
think
and
that's
locked
not
them in,
getting psycho
except for
on?
the fact that it would have been more writing to do.
I busted him in a bathroom yesterday with a gun. I'll give you the story later. Principal Wells is taking care of it now, I hope.
Weird
Yeah,
fucking
right.
week. Like that bizarro snowfall yesterday. Speaking of dystopia, that
So here we're
drive-in is
still
like a
talking.
70s Planet of the
We
Apes
haven't moved at
marathon.
all. Not for like
Let's go
5
eat.
minutes. I'm not going to go with you, Warren. Go with
No,
Brooke.
I don't think I can concentrate on going out to the movies. I just feel like escaping.
Fine. Be a damn dirty human. I'll go eat myself.
Hurrah. All right. So now we're going to stop episode 6, and we'll begin episode 7 right here.